The Trojan War is over. The wooden horse worked. The city of Troy is nothing but ashes and echoes. While the other Greek kings sail home to their wives and wine, one man remains at sea. Odysseus, the king of Ithaca, the man of many turns. He thought the war was the hardest part of his life. He was wrong. The gods were watching, and Poseidon, the earth shaker, was not pleased. This is not just a journey. It is a 10-year struggle against the very fabric of fate. Odysseus and his 12 ships arrive at a fertile island. They find a cave filled with giant cheeses and pens of sheep. The men want to take the food and run, but Odysseus, driven by his fatal curiosity, wants to see who lives there. The owner returns. It is Polyphemus, a Cyclops, a son of Poseidon. He doesn't offer hospitality. He closes the cave with a massive stone and eats 2 of Odysseus's men for dinner. Then 2 more for breakfast. Odysseus realizes that killing the giant in his sleep is useless. They aren't strong enough to move the stone door. He hatches a plan. He offers the Cyclops a skin of potent, unwatered wine. Polyphemus drinks it all and asks the hero's name. "My name is Nobody," Odysseus replies. The giant falls into a drunken stupor. Odysseus and his men sharpen a wooden stake, heat it in the fire, and drive it into the giant's only eye. The Cyclops screams. His neighbors gather outside the cave and ask, "Who is hurting you?" Polyphemus yells, "Nobody is killing me!" The other giants laugh and walk away. The next morning, the men escape by clinging to the bellies of the sheep as they go out to graze. But as Odysseus sails away, his pride takes over. He yells back his real name. Polyphemus prays to his father, Poseidon, to curse Odysseus. The sea becomes his enemy. The crew reaches the island of Aeaea, home to the goddess Circe. She is beautiful, dangerous, and bored. She invites the first scouting party to a feast and, with a wave of her wand, turns them into pigs. Hermes, the messenger god, warns Odysseus and gives him a magical herb called moly to resist her spells. Odysseus confronts Circe. Surprised by his immunity, she falls in love with him. The pigs are turned back into men, and the crew stays for a year in luxury. But the memory of Ithaca pulls at Odysseus. Circe tells him that to get home, he must do something no living man desires. He must travel to the land of the dead to speak with the blind prophet Tiresias. In the dark, misty realm of Hades, Odysseus pours blood into a trench to summon the ghosts. He sees his mother, whom he didn't know had died. He sees fallen comrades from Troy. Tiresias warns him, "You will reach home, but you will find trouble in your house. And whatever you do not touch the cattle of the sun god Helios." Back at sea, they face the Sirens, creatures whose song is so beautiful it lures sailors to their deaths on the rocks. Odysseus has his men plug their ears with beeswax, but he wants to hear the song. He orders his men to tie him to the mast and not let him go, no matter how much he begs. He hears the celestial music, the promises of infinite knowledge, and he screams to be freed, but his men obey his earlier orders and row past the danger. Then comes the impossible choice, a narrow strait. On one side, Charybdis, a whirlpool that swallows entire ships. On the other, Scylla, a 6-headed monster that lives in the cliffs. Odysseus chooses Scylla. Better to lose 6 men than the whole ship. As they pass, Scylla's heads strike like snakes, snatching 6 sailors from the deck. Odysseus hears their final cries, calling his name as he rows frantically away. It is the most painful moment of his journey. Exhausted, they land on the island of the sun god. A storm keeps them trapped for a month. The food runs out. While Odysseus sleeps, his men, starving and desperate, slaughter the sacred cattle of Helios. The sun god is furious. He tells Zeus, "Punish them, or I will take the sun to the underworld and shine among the dead forever." As soon as they set sail, Zeus strikes the ship with a lightning bolt. The ship shatters. Every man drowns except Odysseus. He clings to a piece of wood for 9 days until he washes up on Ogygia, the island of the nymph Calypso. She's a goddess of immense beauty. She loves him. She offers him immortality, to never age, to live in paradise forever. But every day Odysseus sits on the shore, looking at the horizon, weeping for his rocky home and his wife, Penelope. He stays for 7 years until Athena convinces Zeus to let him go. Calypso helps him build a raft, and he sails into the final storm. Odysseus arrives in Ithaca, disguised as a beggar by the goddess Athena. He finds his palace overrun by suitors, arrogant noblemen who are eating his food, sleeping with his servants, and pressuring Penelope to choose a new husband. They think Odysseus is dead. Penelope, ever wise, sets a challenge. She will marry the man who can string Odysseus's massive hunting bow and shoot an arrow through 12 axe heads. The suitors try and fail, one by one. They lack the strength. The beggar asks for a turn. The suitors mock him, but Odysseus takes the bow. He strings it as easily as a harpist strings a lyre. He fires the arrow cleanly through every axe head. The room goes silent. Odysseus sheds his rags. "Your game is over," he says. With the help of his son Telemachus and a loyal swineherd, Odysseus cleanses his palace. The suitors are defeated, but Penelope is cautious. She tests him one last time, asking a servant to move their marriage bed. Odysseus flares up. "No one can move that bed. I built it myself around a living olive tree." Penelope smiles. Only the real Odysseus could know that secret. After 20 years of war, monsters, and divine wrath, the king of Ithaca is finally home. The story of Odysseus is the story of the human spirit. It tells us that intelligence is more powerful than brute force, and that the longing for home is the strongest compass we have. He could have been a god, but he chose to be a man, and in that choice, he became immortal in the hearts of everyone who has ever had a long way to go.